Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Tanita, and on this channel I'll talk about spirituality, the law of attraction, personal development, things like that. So if you want to become a better version of yourself, if you want to create the life of your wildest dreams, then join this beautiful spiritual family. Now today is going to be a little bit of a different style of a video than what I normally do. Normally I'm just kind of sitting down and teaching you what I know from my personal experience, right? Or what I've learned in some esoteric, philosophical / self-help book. This time I just want to chat with you guys, and I would really appreciate it if you gave me your opinions down in the comments, because this topic is a little bit controversial as per se. So today I want to talk to you guys about whether spirituality is a privilege or not. And I know that my opinion differs from most of the spiritual teachers that I look up to, so I thought that I'm going to talk about it and just ask you guys for your opinion, because this is definitely a topic that a lot of people disagree on. I absolutely 100% believe that spirituality is in fact a privilege, and this is very different from most of the people that I've seen answer this question. Now I'm going to explain myself in just a moment, but let's first talk about in what way spirituality is not a privilege. So spirituality is not a privilege in a sense that you don't require any tools to be on a spiritual journey, right? By the nature of you being I'm sorry you guys, the birds are kind of loud. Okay, so I don't know if you guys can hear that, but the birds are being crazy outside my window, so I apologize for that. There's nothing really that I can do for that, but I guess the sounds of nature are in alignment with our topic, right? So spirituality is not a privilege in a sense that you don't require any certain tools to be spiritual. You don't need to be into tarot or to have psychic ability. You don't need to go into fancy ashrams and go on a pilgrimage around the world's greatest temples or own a lot of crystals to be a spiritual person. You are a spiritual being first and a physical being second. So when we talk about spirituality and it being a privilege from this perspective, it's not a privilege. But let me explain to you my reasoning as to why, in a larger sense, spirituality is in fact a very huge privilege. So we've already talked about the separation between the ego and the soul on this channel. The soul is what goes on this spiritual quest. The soul is what eagerly guides you towards recognition of your connection to the divine. The ego, on the other hand, is not at all concerned about this connection between you and the divine. It's not at all concerned about your purpose here on planet Earth. The ego operates solely on the basis of survival. It exists to protect you. Now let's talk about these two concepts and how they apply to spirituality and privilege. People who constantly are forced because of their circumstance to operate on the fundamental level of their ego, they clearly are not as privileged as us to spirituality. And let me give you an example to explain myself better. Let's take me, a very privileged woman who has access to clean water, food, shelter, education, and many other things. And let's take another woman my age, let's say from South Sudan, who is running for her life from violence and destruction. Who do you think is more likely to dig deep into themselves and start discovering the divine nature of themselves? Who do you think is more likely to adapt the belief that our thoughts and feelings create reality? The answer is very clear here, right? I am more likely to do all of those things because my fundamental human needs are satisfied. All my fundamental human needs are met, and that's why I have room in my life to wonder about the divine nature of myself, to take on the spiritual quest. Now, how likely do you think is that a person who is running for their life to have their fundamental need for safety met, how likely do you think that they will choose the spiritual path? I am not saying it's impossible. I am saying that it's a privilege to have the room in your life to ponder on the metaphysical things, right? I am not saying it's impossible. I am saying it's a great privilege to have room in your life that allows you to ask these metaphysical questions. You and I both know how the law of attraction works, and what if we wanted to teach this philosophy to people who are in need of it the most? Let's say we share this philosophy with the people who are fleeing their country because they're not safe there. How much room do you think they have inside their mental space to hold on to this philosophy and adapt it? It's not very likely for that to happen, right? Because when people are operating on the basis of their ego, and you're always operating on the basis of your fundamental survival instinct when you're in immediate danger, you don't have room to think about philosophies and metaphysical questions and about whether your thoughts truly create your reality. This is just the truth. And when you look at the energetic centers of your body, it's very clear. Your root chakra, that's responsible for safety, is the lowest chakra, is the chakra where all of the energy starts. So if your root chakra is inactive or disbalanced, this creates a problem for all of your other energetic centers. When you don't have a certain level of safety, the energy is blocked from moving from that chakra and up towards all of your other energetic centers, which are responsible for the connections that you make with other human beings, for your connection to the divine, for your connection to creativity, etc. So the point is, even the energetic centers of your body indicate that it all starts with the basic sense of security. And unfortunately, some people don't have that. I am saying this not because I believe that what we do here is shameful. I am saying this so that you recognize the kind of a privilege that you have. I am sharing this so that you recognize your own privilege and you start feeling grateful for the things that you have in your life. Because the truth is, as good as spreading the philosophy is, as amazing the new age spiritual movement has been, as life-changing it is, all over the world, it is directed mostly at the privileged, at the West. I mean, think about it. Osho, who comes from India, who is a native of India, where his teachings also are popular. He has an ashram, a meditative center in India that is specifically made for Westerners. Now, obviously, it's not like you're not allowed to go if you're not a Western person, but the prices are clearly Western, and the people who go there are mostly Western. Because spirituality in the West sells, it makes money, and I think it's important to recognize that. And that's why it's very important for me, when I establish myself to the certain level where I want to be, to not only continue spreading the philosophy and educating people, but also to help whenever I can, to offer people physical goods, to try to make people's lives physically better. I ask you guys, whenever you see a fundraiser or a campaign that needs to be shared, share it. Donate the $5 that you would have used for your Starbucks coffee, because you do make a difference. When a lot of people care about something, we can make a difference, and it starts with you. If you're healthy and capable, go donate blood. They do it like once in 2-3 months, and you are actually making a difference in people's lives. Your blood, one donation, can save up to 2 people. So really start being conscious about the decisions that you're making, because once again, your spirituality, your growth, it's a privilege. And in order for us to develop as species, in order for us to become spiritual and be happy and find peace on this planet, we absolutely need to also acknowledge that people need real help outside of the philosophy. I've met people who absolutely believe with their very being that giving someone an apple is much worse than teaching them how to plant a tree. Now, what if that person is starving? Ask yourself that question. Of course, spreading the philosophy is beautiful and wonderful, and if you share what we learn here in the spiritual community with anyone, you're helping. but it's also important to help people who may not have the room in their life to think about such metaphysical things. I think this is all I have for today, you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please let me know your opinions down in the comments. This is a topic that's very important to me. I hope to see you in my next video. Bye.